From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the resignation of a very senior government official who is leaving in a very angry mood, and who tells us why. William von Robb is the commissioner of the U.S. Customs Service. It is Customs' job to stop illegal drugs at the U.S. border. Von Robb thinks the U.S. is losing the war against drugs because from where he sits, the government isn't fighting to win. Some scathing comments about his bosses in an interview with us. Here's ABC's Mark Potter.
8 years after being sworn in as Customs Commissioner, William von Robb is convinced the U.S. is losing the war on drugs.
It's just out of control. And in that sense, our national policy has been a total and abysmal failure.
Von Robb believes the basic problem is that the U.S. has failed to apply political and economic pressure against the drug supply countries, where the traffickers run freely.
They feel no pressure whatsoever. They're happily living out their lives as feudal barons in the hills of Colombia and Peru and Bolivia, and no one's touching them, including the United States. There's so much cocaine out there that we can't control it.
So much cocaine, he says, that the attempt to stop drugs at the U.S. border will never succeed, despite the billions of dollars spent on manpower, aircraft, and other surveillance tools.
I would say that interdiction has probably improved tenfold. Unfortunately, production has grown 20-fold.
Von Robb accuses the State Department under the Reagan administration of virtually ignoring the international drug supply.
I think that certainly was the case with Secretary Schultz, who really never had anything to do with the drug issue, so it was totally foreign to him.
Von Robb points to one case with particular bitterness. In 1985, after traffickers killed American drug agent Enrique Camarena in Guadalajara, Mexico, Von Robb sealed the Mexican border and accused the government there of corruption. While this attempt to force Mexico's cooperation in the murder investigation was cheered by drug agents, Von Robb says it was roundly criticized in Washington.
The administration went absolutely ballistic. George Shultz, Secretary of State, accused me of being a troglodyte. I often felt that it was sort of the Mexican government and the U.S. government against me in the war on drugs.
As for the Bush administration, Von Robb says the president and his new drug czar, William Bennett, are personally committed to the drug war. But he says nothing is being done while the administration waits for Bennett's plan. And he claims the State Department, under Secretary James Baker, still doesn't care much about foreign drug production.
There's a sort of cowardly streak, I think, in our State Department. We haven't mounted an effort to put on the kind of pressure that we need in order to do something about production. It really is scandalous.
More troubling to Von Robb is the attitude of his own boss, Treasury Secretary Nicholas Brady.
He hasn't addressed the issue of the war against drugs. I think he's more concerned with the savings and loan problems and some of the third world debt issues.
Von Robb does have his critics. They think he is a loose cannon who only sees one side of the drug issue. His supporters say he has been a breath of fresh air.
So as long as our war is being fought with phrases, words, empty phrases, empty words, we're not going to win. We've got to turn the war from a war of words to a war of action.
Like many who have fought the drug battle, Von Robb is emerging saddened and discouraged. Not so much because the nation lost, but because, in his opinion, it never really tried. Mark Potter, ABC News, New York.
There has been no comment from Secretary of State Baker nor from former Secretary Schultz. A spokesman for Treasury Secretary Nicholas Brady said that Mr. Von Robb's judgment may be affected by the decision to appoint a new Customs Commissioner. The Secretary's spokesman also said that Mr. Brady had raised the Customs drug-fighting budget to the highest level in history. In a moment, we'll have an unusual report on city government. In Atlantic City, a good part of it went to jail this morning. And later in this broadcast, the need to clean up the air, the president's plan, and then finally tonight, lining up to go to jail as a tourist.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, brought to you by the Discover Card.